So something kind of funny slash scary slash interesting just happened. So I had Pam out because Pam's kind of skinny and I want to make sure she's eating enough. So I was just feeding her, even though I fed her yesterday. And just because I'm studying for chemistry, I'm watching a video, so I might as well just like feed the gecko while I'm kind of half watching the video. And then she was done, so I was gonna hold Finnick because Finnick is kind of finicky and he's kind of weird. So I went to get him out and I could not find him. And then I brought up the thing up here and he was like nowhere to be found. And then I realized that last night when I was feeding them, I put him on my bed and I must have never put him back. So then I was like freaking out. So I didn't grab my phone to film. That wasn't my first thought whatsoever. My first thought was he could literally be anywhere and I need to tell my dad. So I had my dad come in and I was like, okay, we have a situation. Finnick is out somewhere. So I had Chris and the other gecko are in here. And then I went ahead and what I thought was, what normally happens is I'll set Finnick down and he'll come over here and then he'll go back there. So my first thought was like, he's going to be back behind the bed because there's a little bit of space in between the wall and the whole bed structure thing that's going on here. So I moved them like this. I moved my pillows like this. And then we were standing over here and I was talking to my dad. And then I look over, or I kind of start looking like back here. And then there he is. So I have my Bible right there because I read it before I go to sleep. And he's just sitting right on the Bible. So I come over and I grab him. He tried to go back down, but luckily I can kind of squeeze my hand down there and I like got him to come back up. And he was just sitting right there. But he had obviously been down into the crack there between the wall because he had like dust on his face and stuff. But man, was that lucky. Like I've had the geckos get out too many times at this point. Like Darwin's gotten out, Linus has gotten out, and that's pretty much it. And now Finnick I left out because I just got distracted because it's not like I do one at a time. I just had it out and then I was feeding the other animals and it must have ran by behind my pillow and then I just wouldn't have seen it. But it's happened a few too many times, but I've been really lucky every time. So like with Darwin, I didn't even realize she was out. I just saw her like on my book bag that was sitting here. I just saw her and I was like, oh. And then I realized what had happened. It's because these doors, they like pop open sometimes. And we're working on the actual doors, so they look really nice. But these doors kind of popped open. And then Linus, I think it was the same thing. I didn't even realize he was out. And that was when I had the baby containers right here. And I moved one and Linus popped out because that's a bad example. But over here, this piece goes all the way to the wall, so it doesn't. So he couldn't get under it. And he was just behind the baby gecko enclosure. So I moved him and he just like popped out and I was like, oh, he's out. So I realized this one was lost before I found it, which was a very scary experience. But I figured I'd share it. I always do with these types of things because, I don't know, I think it's pretty interesting. And I wish I would have filmed right away, but like that wasn't at all what I was thinking about, and I think that's pretty justified. I was just like, I'm really scared because we could very well not find this, you know, like that could be it for, that has happened before, unfortunately, where an animal gets lost, and it's not always my fault, but an animal has gotten lost before. It was an African clawed frog a while back that just jumped out of its tank, and we never found it. I wasn't even home. I was in a different state, and my dad realized that it jumped out, and he never found it, and I never found it. So just unfortunate situations like that are quite unfortunate, and I really don't like when that kind of stuff happens. So I'm glad that wasn't the case here. Just a dead part of the plant. But interesting story, I think. And now I can put them back. But just a little bit update on them. This tank seems to be doing all right. They all appear to be female for now, but like with Linus, it kind of happened overnight. He got the bulge, so we're not like for sure that they're all female, but that's what it's looking like so far. And then this plant here, this tree, has more pieces coming up, so there's going to be more trees in here, I guess. So that's pretty cool. And everything's doing decent, not great, because it's just sitting on the floor right now without any proper lighting. So I need to fix that light because it just stopped working for some reason, or I need to determine that I can't fix it, and then I need to buy another one because those makeshift aquarium lights aren't doing much. And then this one will go on the shelf once I have time to build a way for it to do that. So that's what the plan is with these guys. And then as soon as I realize they're male or female, I'll either put them in their own container or I will move them in with one of the other geckos. So if they're pretty big, if I realize that they're female and like if one turns male and then I wait a while and the other one won't or doesn't, then I will move them in, or if they both are female, then I'll move them over and that type of thing. So then I can move the next ones up and kind of keep it going because this area is bigger and then they can grow better or whatever. So yeah, because the ones in the 5-gallon are getting pretty big, and then the ones before them are even getting pretty big. They're almost all 8 of them are almost the same size. So I think they could use a bigger tank. Yeah, what's going on, guy? And here's 2. It's crazy how dark that one is in comparison. Like the 2 of them. This guy's really light, and then the one right beside him is so dark. So I think it's pretty interesting. In here, the Darwin babies have turned like super dark in this bioactive tank. So I think that's pretty interesting. And he's just watching us. Just wanted to know what's going on. So that's my story for tonight.